being Memorial Day.
Yes.
I just have a few things here. That's a health threat to our county. And of course, we've been fighting biosolids, as you know. And this is the biosolids we've fought. We have made headway. They came out, the EPA IG came out with a new memorandum, and it warns public-owned treatment works that the toxic release inventory is inaccurate. So we don't know whether biosolids are worse or better, more likely worse. I don't know if you have a copy of that or not.
Yes.
Then, where we left off in November on the fire burn, biomass burning, we looked at it more in depth. This was done. This is a protection area here. We have no protection area. Newport does, Lincoln City, Clio, Siletz, Logston, Eddyville, there's no protection, so they can burn and just let it go. This is our air monitoring. As you can see, there's none on the coast. So that's really a threat to everybody's health, especially children and elderly and people with autoimmune systems. This is a biomass burn they did in Ground, Oregon. They wanted to find out what pollutants was in a fir debris pile logging. They found out 35 chemicals, pollutants, some of them are carcinogenic. And so that's what this river represents. The state is stepping it up and it'll burn more this year than it did last year. There's no monitoring, as I told you before, on the diesel gas and all this stuff. This is Toledo Pulp and Paper Mill. This is a hazardous pollutant. It's a major contributor to hazardous toxic pollutants in Lincoln County. This is done by the DEQ. This, what they want to do now is add a new, as you can read, a new advanced material recycling system. They're going to take things from offices, arenas, airports, all their solid waste. They want to add it on, burn it, try to make paper out of it. And it releases methanol and formaldehyde. And this is a direct quote from Gary Andrews. Regarding the addition of advanced material recycling system inquiry, the new material recovery system will emit relatively minor amounts of particulate matter, volatile organic compounds, and two hazardous air pollutants, methanol and formaldehyde. Compared to the rest of the pulp mill facility emission, the quantities are rather small. So these are rather small, so GP is putting out major amounts, as DEQ says. So my problem is, this can't be added in, because formaldehyde is a carcinogen. It does give people cancer. They already have another one, it's not linked to cancer in here. It's also linked to cancer by the EPA. It's in this chart right up here. So this is an overall view. All these give off particle matters, can go 2.5 to 10. Gets into our lungs, and it's called, there's coarse, fine, and extra fine. They go into our lungs, down our bloodstream. They're cumulative. Again, it's very bad on the children and the elderly and people with autoimmune disease. And since that's what we're here for, to protect the children, there needs to be some kind of control about this. And this is such a health threat, adding a known carcinogen back into all the carcinogenics that's already in the paper mill. It's just ridiculous. Then last November, this smoke blew east to west and mixed with the paper mill smoke over Toledo. So you had a combination of two different pollutants and particle matter dropping around the city of Toledo. And it can go up to 70 miles away. So if you think you're clear away from it in Newport, you're not, because in the summer we get a lot of east winds blowing west, so it's coming around here and also falling down in Newport. You can always count on it. So we're trying to make people aware of what's going on in Lincoln County and how dangerous it is. And it's going to get worse if we add this up. It's more of a threat for more cancers. And like I said, it's really a threat to children. And that's where we need to stop this. And Killian will let you know about how it is affecting us. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
I think it's the rest of this time, right? Okay, so we want to send out some thank yous and say, hey, look where we are. the biosolids, we have 1 million gallons that did not happen. It didn't happen, the 500,000 in the fall. We didn't get 500,000 gallons in the spring approximately. So yay. LCCR, yes, on 21-177. We don't have the pesticide sprayed, so that's great, but that needs to stay gone. I hear that it's coming back, they're being sued, so we need to make sure we stay off that. On the toxic sewage sludge update, of course, we have no word on whether the site authorizations have been approved. I've seen where that was supposed to happen about January, but it hasn't. So that's all right, because, they're not good. They don't stand. They can't apply, that turns out. Just out of curiosity, I sent an email to the DQ to see how many, site authorizations Paul Kennedy oversees. They have no list. I guess it's in Paul Kennedy's mind. But he does oversee 159 sewage treatment plants. Toledo alone has 4 different farms they work with. So, take that times 159. 2 of those farms have 2 different sites. Just a little note on the annual reports. They say they look at them for accuracies. I can tell you right now, Depot Base is wrong. We have it on film. No movement, I guess, on 286. Bill, we're hearing nothing, right?
They're supposed to be scheduling a hearing.
Oh, I hear they're scheduling a hearing. We keep getting a little further. And then again, there is no really monitoring of this. These are toxins. And whether they're Class A or Class B, they're all toxic. Luke, so just for fun, he did the latest news. It's not good for biosolids, so I just wanted to share this. I didn't print out all these links, but it's just some more information on the biosolids. So, basically, coming back to you again, Claire, you told us you would sign an ordinance. Doug, you weren't too sure. Katie, we've never asked you. So I'm asking again for the ordinance to stop the land application of biosolids in Lincoln County, or at least along the Siletz River. If you will not do that, I'd ask for an alternative. You guys put it on the ballot. You could, please. Siletz River update, the algae growth. We went down, we took some pictures. Of course, the river is low and it was hot. So I had a conversation with David Waltz back in 2018, and the nitrogen and phosphorus was high in the river then. And by the way, just a side note, did you see that Salem's spending $75 million to try and protect their water from the algae? There's an analysis out on the Siletz River, came out March 2019. And it says right in there, currently this issue, the issue of biosolids, is being investigated in more depth, and there will be a subsequent analysis. Hence, biosolids applications were not evaluated in this report. I don't know who's doing this or when. I don't know if you guys heard anything, but apparently they're going to. Also on the dissolved oxygen, they did define that there is a period of time where the Siletz River does not meet dissolved oxygen criteria for the salmon spawning. And they have, they're looking at the reason for that, but part of it, I noticed that they said up Rock Creek there's a lot of red alders, so maybe that's doing it. I don't buy that, but that's a discussion item. On a previous report on the Siletz Basin in November 2015, the insect repellent DEET was found in the Siletz River at Moonshine. Siletz River at Moonshine also it contained detectable levels of VHC alpha and beta. These compounds are also found in estuaries along the Oregon coast, and they're transported by air. Because of their chemical nature, the pesticides tend to stay in the sediments and bioaccumulate in the food chain, making this a concern in the environment. And then they also found 2 other plants, steroids. I think these were found in all the basins, but these were both beta-sterol and stigmatensil. They come from wood processing, food oils, modern pharmaceutical supplements. They were also in all the water basins. On to the advanced material recycling. There will be a public hearing in about June, and so part of the reason we're here is, are you guys going to be a part of that? Are you going to talk, and maybe, has anybody talked with the school district? Where's the school district on this? This is in Toledo. The wind blows towards the schools. And on top of this, they'll add 32 more diesel trucks coming into Toledo a day. Plus wherever all this garbage will go. Landfill somewhere in Lincoln County. There also is going to be a Toledo risk assessment on the GP mill. Found that in a news article, but we don't know if that's before or after, if they do add this advanced material recycling. And then, okay, in the interest of time, moving on to the smoke. Again, there's no air monitoring and what happens when these two airs mix. Then, the big part. Then I'm moving on to Gary Andes. When he did a renewal of one of the permits, he told me that he did do a study on Toledo area, Siletz area, for cancers. He said at that time there was only one. I said, okay. Well, I too had called. This one's pretty big. And
Yeah, if you could just wrap up with this thought, please.
okay, this one's okay. So I too called the CDC and we asked for some very specific tests. And this is the result. And he was Rodney with the CDC, chronic disease and disorder, cancer, did this report, and this is for Toledo and Siletz only for the period of 2011 through 2015. Overall, lower rate of all cancers compared to the state. But when you looked at Toledo and Siletz only, there is 10 cancers. They are higher than the state average. Tongue, floor of the mouth, nasopharynx, colon rectal, pancreas, lung and bronchitis, female genital system, prostate, urinary cancer, and non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. And you're only counted by where you live when you get your cancer. So say, support Michael. He grew up in Toledo, right up on Ammon Road. He went to the schools. He graduated from Toledo. He has a very rare form, gray zone cancer. This is form of lymphoma. But he's combated in Corvallis, so that's just one example.
Okay. Kayleen, we're past time, I'm sorry. So
Okay,
Betty signed up.
Right. Benzene seems to be a real contributing factor in most of these health problems.
Alan, you used all your time, and Kayleen, you're about a minute past. So
All right.
if we're going to bring Betty up, we need to do that.
So I'm done talking about stuff.
Oh, another
I'm
issue.
not talking
Okay,
about the
but-
same things, but it's a different topic.
Okay, that's fine. Appreciate your input, the information.
Yeah, we have major health issues for sure.
Okay.
Just one quick question. Are you getting these with us? Are these our copies or you want?
No, those were ours. That
Okay.
cost us about.
Maybe we
No,
could
that's
get
fine, that's fine.
pictures.
Yeah,
We'll
and
have to
then-
take pictures. We'll take some
Yeah,
photos.
Katie, yeah, if Casey could take some pictures before. All right, Betty, come on up, please. And if you would introduce